Hello, I'm Pamela Davis. Welcome to episode 169 of the Well Done Life podcast. Hello, and welcome back to episode 169 of the Well Done Life podcast. I'm your host, Pamela Davis. If you are new here, hey, how are you? Welcome. I am so glad that you're here with us this week. I hope you stay for a really long time. If you've been here before, you guys know the deal. I love you deep. Thank you so much for continuing to support me. I wouldn't be here without you. And I hope that you continue to stay and bring some friends along and just enjoy the ride because, again, this is our space, our place, and you are totally welcome and appreciated. So before we dive into this week's episode, you guys know the deal. You know how I like to get started. I know I sound like a broken record, but I truly believe that it's very important to be very foundational and set the intention of why we're here, why we're having this conversation. So I like to make sure that everybody understands that this safe space, I treat it like a house. And with that, that means that I feel that our foundation has to be super strong. So our foundation is built on two very important tenets, and that is clarity and love. Clarity, really straightforward. I just want to make sure that you understand that the Well Done Life podcast is a podcast that I created for women because I believe we're the foundation of society. And I think we need places and spaces where we can be our most authentic self. So please know that in this space right here, you are loved, you are cared for, you can cry, you can laugh, you can learn, you can inspire. I hope you'll do all the things because when we connect with each other, great things happen. So I hope that you know that this is what this is for. And then that leads me to my second foundation. And it actually is my favorite foundation because you guys know I'm a sucker for love. I believe in love. So I like to make sure that you understand that everything that we will create in this space is rooted in love. And so with that, I like to make sure that I send you prayers. And it's funny because I haven't been here in a little bit recording. It's been more guests than me. But this week I'm rolling solo dolo. And the first thing that I feel like I just want to say thank you for, send prayers to you about is just being able to show up in a situation as my authentic self. And I want to send prayers of authenticity to you because, you know, sometimes it's really easy in situations that we get placed in that sometimes we don't dial into who we are, that we don't come showing our most authentic self. And I want you to know that you are enough. You are more than enough. And everything that you bring to the table, every word, every thought, every intention has value. And even if you feel like somebody else is in the same space doing exactly what you do, I promise they don't do it just like you. So you need to make sure that you show up as who you are because God made you unique. God made you special. And showing up as who you are authentically is what the world is waiting for. So I hope that you will come and be your normal self. I don't care what that entails. Like for myself, I am truly at times socially awkward and a bit quirky. But those are the sides of myself that I am learning to love even more and more every day. So I hope that you will show up as your most authentic self and that you will embrace authenticity because the moment that you embrace authenticity is the step to being able to embrace yourself. And that's what all this is about. That's what living the well done life is, realizing that you are more than enough. Everything inside of you is all that you are meant to be and then some. And so when you tap into the authenticity of you, the magic of you, that's when amazing things happen. So I am sending you prayers of authenticity. I'm also sending you prayers of rest. I mean, I've talked about it before. We're in the fourth quarter. I'm actually sitting here in my mind, kind of like thinking about what this episode is going to be titled. And one of the things that came to my mind was Endgame. And I'm like, yeah, we're in the end game. We're in the final quarter, whatever you want to call it, the last 3 months of the year. And heck, it's October 17th. We might as well say it's almost November. So we're almost in the last 2 months of the year. And so I just want to make sure that you take moments to get some rest. I mean, I cannot pretend to say that we are not going to be all busy. Like I'm not busy. I have literally been on the road. It has been planes, trains, and automobiles for your girl over here for the past week. But I will say one thing. In all of that, I was able to actually sit in stillness. I found time. I carved out time. I had 800 other things I could be doing. Believe me, we all do. But I was like, no, you know what? I'm going to embrace this feeling of sitting in stillness. And it felt so good. I literally sat in the same spot this past weekend for, I would say, hours, like literally over 4 to 5 hours. I just got up long enough to get a cup of coffee, little snack, go to the bathroom, and sit my butt right back in that same space. And it was exactly what I needed in that moment to kind of dial into me, to kind of help regulate my system. I've talked to you guys about regulating your thoughts and how it can help you regulate your body and regulate your mind. You want to make sure that you're setting yourself up for success with that. So give yourself space where you can just sit down and be still, because we deserve moments of stillness, especially in seasons where we are doing all the things. The holidays will be ramping up and we are going to get even busier than what we are. And a lot of it is going to be hopefully spent with people that we love, doing things that we want to do, which is important and nourishing and all the things. But still make sure that you carve out time for you. Don't allow yourself to get caught up in the season without taking care of yourself. So please make sure you give yourself some space for rest and stillness, because there are a lot of things that you can come to realize in stillness that can help set you up to end this year strong and prepare you going into 2024. Also, I am going to always give you a prayer of abundance. I always like to send y'all financial blessings. I believe that, when you are financially blessed, that means that you can be a blessing to other people. But I also want you to be abundant in your spirit. And I talk about it a lot because it's very easy to get caught up in the cycles of materialism. And don't get me wrong, I'm sitting up here and not trying to act judgmental or bougie, because I like nice things just like everybody else. And I work and aspire for nice things like everybody else. But at the same time, I really love the little things. I really do. And I value the little moments. And it is really important for me. Like, I love, giving gifts to my friends or doing fun things with people, because those memories, those moments just last a lifetime. So I want you to be surrounded in loving moments, surrounded in loving memories. I want to make sure that you are creating that space, because the little things can carry so much weight. And those moments add up in our soul, because a lot of times we're out here doing things that we don't want to do in some instances to do what needs to be done. If you caught that, you caught it. But if not, here it is again. A lot of times we're out here doing a lot of things that we don't necessarily always want to do, but we need to do so that we can get the things that we need to get done. And so, it can get really draining on your spirit. It can get draining on you emotionally and mentally and physically. And so you want to make sure that you are cultivating space to do little things that nourish your soul, because those little things add up. Create those memories, create those moments, because all of them add up. So when you're in those seasons where you are frustrated, where you are feeling like, I don't understand why I'm in this season, why I'm even doing what I'm doing, you can dial back into yourself and remember why you go so hard. Because we all make the decision to go hard. We all know what we want, and that's just how it's going to be. And we have aspired and set our minds and our intention and our energy on certain goals, and we do it, and we work and work and work to the utmost in order to achieve it. And that's great. But then at the same time, make sure that you're pouring into yourself. Make sure you're creating moments that are going to feed you, because when that go hard, that moment, that strive, that hustle, that grind starts to get really heavy and it just feels really sucky, you need to be able to have something to lean into to show you that this is just temporal and that you are doing this for something greater that is going to create something beautiful and tangible, not just something material. So those are my prayers for you this week. I hope that you know that you are loved and thought of in the best way. And I'm sorry about my computer, y'all, just like doing all the things. You can tell. See, I haven't been on here in a hot minute. Like, I haven't even gotten all the alerts silenced and all that. So I'm so sorry about that. And hopefully that doesn't happen again. We're just going to pray through it. But I definitely, again, like I said, want to thank you for, rocking with me and supporting. I know before we dive into this week's episode, I took a break. Yes, like I said, this past week, I've been planes, trains, and automobiles, y'all. I have been all over, but it has been a really good time. I traveled for work, and then I traveled for fun and rest, and I'm back. And it's just me. I feel really weird because I have not recorded a solo episode in a few months. So definitely, hopefully this doesn't sound rusty, but I'm here. And I do want to thank everyone for your support of Happy Just Because with Robin Muhammad, because she is an amazing light. Our conversation was so intentional and just so different. We talked about so many things. We talked about health. We talked about mental health. We talked about love. We talked about trauma from generational traumas and just so many different things. It was just a conversation that flowed in so many areas. But I hope that you felt inspired to realize that love is truly the thing and that health is wealth, mentally and physically. So those, if you haven't had a chance to check out that episode, I'll put a link to it in the show notes. But like I said, this week it's just me. We're rolling solo dolo. We are here in the end game, the final quarter. And I'm really glad to kind of have a moment to be with you guys. It's funny because this last few months of the year have really been really great, but they've been very challenging for me. And they've been challenging in the sense that, I've just been a little bit more stressed out than what I like to be. I typically try to be as even as I can be, but, sometimes moments come up in situations, especially when you're going hard in your goals and you're feeling the pressure from work and just trying to do all the things. And so I have found myself in this moment where I'm trying to find moments where I can rest more. I'm trying to find moments where I can think. I'm trying to find moments where I can work more too, because I have some really big things coming up in fourth quarter, in actually no, April of 2024. I'm just going to say it, April 2024. I cannot wait to share it with you guys. I definitely will probably have all of the details ironed out for you guys to hear about in December. Because yes, it is going to be something I am so proud and so honored to be able to share this with you guys. And so I am working on the super huge project behind the scenes, trying to do all the things, live my life, travel, have a wonderful time with my friends and family, and just experience life. And at the same time, I'm working and it is super hectic and busy, lots of change going on, and wanting to make sure that I give my best. And I find like sometimes, and I don't know if it's just me, in this season, especially in the last part of the year, I like to typically slow down a little. I like to take moments to kind of reflect. I like to look back over the course of this year and start to think about, what did I really accomplish? Just kind of giving that wrap up, that end of year, summation of where I am. And obviously it's still a little early. Luckily, we're only 17 days in until the fourth quarter. So I've got time, but not a lot of time. And I definitely want to make sure that I'm super intentional because like I've told y'all before, you guys know how I feel about this year. This is my golden renaissance. And yes, my arms are up because I turned 50 and I'm super excited about being 50. I feel great to be 50. I look good to be 50. And I'm really excited about turning 51. And it just sounds nutty to even say that. But I'm also feeling that pressure of wanting to be super intentional. Because I don't know if you've been listening for a while or you haven't, y'all know that, well, outside of this being my golden renaissance, my 50th year, I've also made this vow to myself that I am not playing with me in these next 10 years. Like 50 to 60 is a different type of life, and I am not playing about it. I'm being super intentional about what I'm doing, the energy I'm putting out, how I want to live. And so I find myself in this season like, okay, I want to go hard. I want to do all the things, but I then want to sit back and reflect and make sure that I am accomplishing all the goals that I have set out for myself personally, as well as professionally, as well as, in all areas of my life. And I just feel like a little bit of pressure. I feel like overwhelmed. I feel like I put too much pressure on myself. And I actually have to admit, I started to have moments of doubt. Like, am I going to really be able to accomplish all of this? And so that is, I think, another reason why I'm kind of seeking out moments of stillness. And these are things that I kind of I haven't really given a lot of words to these. I'll be honest, this is actually probably the first time that I've sat down and admitted that, I've probably put a little too much pressure on myself. But I think sometimes when you're in that season of growth and transition, because I know God is doing a new thing in me, He's definitely put me on a trajectory to do more. And, I'm very excited about that. But at the same time, you get in those seasons where you know that it's your time and you know it's your season to grow, and you get scared and you have to talk to your fear. So I find myself talking to my fear quite often. And you guys know how I feel about that as well. Like I told you, I kind of got inspired to learn how to talk to my fears by this book, Big Magic by Elizabeth Gilbert. And if you've never read it, I would definitely recommend that you read it. It is more of a book for creatives, but I'll be honest, it's a book for anyone who's trying to put something into the atmosphere that you're trying to accomplish, like a particular goal or energy. Because when you're trying to do that, you have to be so intentional, and you have to recognize that the amount of energy and intention that you are putting out is going to create something, whether you create it or not. And so a lot of times, we get so close to creating the things that we want and doing them, but we back off because the fear gets too great. And so there is a section in the book that talks about how you have to have a conversation with fear, and how you have to be able to, check fear and let fear know, like, hey, you're along for the ride, but you're not driving this car. I got control in this situation. And so you're going to sit back. I'm going to acknowledge you. I'm going to respect you, but you are not going to take over. So I find myself in a lot of situations lately, like speaking to my fears and reminding myself who I am. And I think that that's very common for this season, this time of the year, because again, like like I was mentioning, you're in this end game. You're trying to wrap up and start thinking about all the things that you've accomplished and the things that you want to accomplish. And sometimes when we're not exactly where we want to be, we put a lot of pressure on ourselves to try to get there real quick. But a lot of times you can't get there as quick as you think you want to get there, as think that you can get there, because we all have to remember that this is really not necessarily about what we want to accomplish. This is what about God put in our heart. And so when God puts something in your heart, when He puts something on your spirit and your soul to accomplish, you have to recognize you're not on your time anymore. You're on His time. So when we're on His time, sometimes that means we have to sit back and chill, even though we want to go forward. And so a lot of times that means that, we might be, if we're not careful, putting pressure on ourselves, moving in a way that is not necessarily conducive to the path that we are supposed to be taking. So I know for myself in those situations, like lately, I find myself even praying more than I normally do, and having lots of conversations with God, because I feel like God and I are just like best friends, and like we just talk. And so like when I talk to God and come to Him in prayer, God and I just are talking like all the time. Like I'll be driving the car. I'm sure people are looking at me like either she's singing a really good song or she's just having a lot of conversation, because I am not afraid to talk myself through. I can drive anywhere and have a conversation with God. I actually did it not too long ago, last week, when I was driving. I had to drive like 2 hours from my corporate office to get back to the airport so I could fly to my next destination, fly home. And so I was leaving at like dark 30 in the morning because I caught an early flight. And I literally had the best conversation with God. Like I needed God to help level out on some things, because I just had so many thoughts rolling through my head about work and about my personal life. And I was just like, God, I need to stand in this moment. And so I kind of had praise and worship for those 2 hours to help clear my head so that I could be prepared to go forward. So I feel like in this season, in this time that we're in, especially as we are in the fourth quarter trying to wrap things up, I feel like I'm not alone. And I'm sure many of us are having a lot of those conversations with God. And I think that that's going to help us, because again, we're in that situation where, we're trying to move toward what's in our heart, what we're being led to do. But at the same time, we're not maybe moving as quickly as we need to, or we're moving too fast based upon fear. And sometimes you need to sit in stillness. You need to surrender. You need to go to God in prayer and talk to God about what you want and what you need, and let God guide you in regards to what your next step should be. So that is where, again, stillness comes in. So kind of putting that in a bow, that's really, like I said, I think where a lot of this need for stillness is coming from for me. I know that there are amazingly wonderful, great things coming for me. And I think God is like my girl, I need you to just sit down for a hot minute because you're a recovering A-type personality. And I need you to recognize that this is my time, not yours. And not everyone moves along the path that you move, thinks along the way that you think. And I need you to sit and be still and relax. And so I wanted to kind of bring it up because, like I said, I know I'm not the only one. I know I'm not the only one thinking about all the things that we wanted to accomplish and all the things that we are striving to accomplish as we move forward, and just kind of trying to find a moment to get still, trying to find clarity in the situation. And so, like I said, I literally used a early drive. Like literally, y'all, I was on the road, I think I got on the road like 3:30 in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning. Yes, that's a whole long sort of story, but actually the drive was great because, like I said, I needed that time to commune with God. So I think what I'm trying to say to you, or what I am trying to say, is find your moments to get still. Find your moments to connect with God, no matter where you are, because we are in this season where we are all trying to do all the things and live our best, wonderful, well life. And we are maybe not leaning as much into stillness as we need because we think that action is what gets us closer to our goals. But sometimes it's not that. Sometimes it's stillness. Sometimes it's also surrender. And I think that's also one of the things that is being reminded of me because I don't know, if you guys remember, but earlier in the year, I wrote my love letter to surrender. And Surrender and I have been very close friends throughout this year. That has been my second word of the year. My first word is renaissance and my second word is surrender, because this has been a season where I've had to surrender. And in this season, if I look at it over the course of this year up into this point, surrender has done me well. To let go has really provided me opportunities that I have been able to see different places that I didn't have planned to go this year, to be open to people in loving and beautiful ways that I didn't have planned this year. Like I didn't let my thoughts get in the way of being who I am. I showed up as my most authentic self because I surrendered to the fact that God loves me, and God loves me so that he's going to protect me. And I don't need to lean into my understanding. I need to lean into his. So Surrender and I have been tight, and we have been doing the dance all year, and it has been great. But then at the same time, I feel like toward these last few months, I've been kind of bucking against surrender. I felt like I got comfortable, like I understood the assignment, and I thought I could start to do it my way. But oh, no, 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 no. God was like, my girl, you need to surrender. And so whenever I come to God, and I'm praying about something that is challenging me and stressing me, because that's what I've learned how to do now. Like I don't have the energy to get angry anymore or frustrated. I am not letting anyone disturb my peace, because I've told y'all so many times before, like keeping my skin moisturized is just so important. Like I plan on looking cute and young for a long time, and folks will suck all the energy, all the moisture out of your skin if you give them the ability to stress you. And so I am in this season where I am just like, you know what? I need to surrender. And so I have surrendered to what people think. If you want to be wrong, boo. I don't have the energy to correct you. And it's not my job to correct you. If you want to like me, like me. If you want to love me, love me. If you don't, bet. But I'm not going to stop being my most authentic self. I am not going to stop giving the love that I want to give, because I know that if I give that out, I'm getting it back 10 times full, because God has shown me that time and time again. So like I said, I'm in this the season of authenticity, the season of stepping into myself, the season of remembering that I have to surrender. And so, yes, it has definitely been weighing on me, especially these past couple of weeks, to surrender. And I've been leaning into it more, and it is definitely helping me find peace. So that is one other thing that I've definitely had to, kind of get tighter about, because I had gotten a little loose with my girl Surrender. I probably need to go back and read that letter. But, actually, I think about it. I didn't write that letter out when I did that episode, and I'll link it here in the show notes so that you can hear it. I did that straight off the cuff, because that truly was what needed to come out in regards to that word. But I made a vow that I would check in with Surrender, and Surrender would check in with me. So that's where I guess in the season of peace that I've had this past week, and the season of stillness that I was given, I got an opportunity to kind of tap into surrender. And like I said, yep, that 2 hour car ride, that was one of the conversations that God and I had talking about was surrender. So that's where I guess I keep trying to encourage you, hopefully, to find time, no matter where it is and what season that you're in, to have that conversation, have that moment of regulation, that check, that surrender, that praise and worship, whatever you want to call it to be. But give yourself that space and time to be able to do it, because it's the greatest reset that you can get. And no matter what, we all need to take an opportunity to recognize that sometimes while we are on this path trying to do all the things, we need a moment to reset. And we deserve moments of reset. We deserve moments of stillness. We deserve moments of rest. I cannot tell y'all, like literally, I traveled from Wednesday until Friday for work. Like I said, I flew back at like dark 30 so that I could get my butt back home and get on another plane. Yes, I did. I left that afternoon and went to Dallas with one of my closest friends. I mean, like, we've been tight for 30 years, y'all. And like, we 30 years. And I literally went with her to kind of reset my mind because I needed it. And I didn't know when I said yes to this trip that was what I needed. I was just hoping to go to the spa because, yes, I believe in spas. I do. And I have truly learned one thing this past weekend that is critical. Women, we just want to be left alone. Y'all, we just want to be left alone. We want to be in spaces where we can relax, where we can get massages, good food, or just lounge in pools and be comfortable and just saunas and just do all the things to clear our mind without somebody calling our name, asking for something ridiculous or asking for anything in general. Like, we just need a break. And so literally I got a break and my friend got a break and she needed that break. We needed that time to be able to rest. That was some of the best sleep that I've had probably in months. And I was just so grateful for it. And I feel so recharged going into this week. Like, I have literally told the people I work with, like, I love y'all, but there is nobody in here who is taking the moisture out of my skin this week. Like, none of y'all are about to stress me out. Like, I am keeping my peace, and I'm keeping my peace not because I'm gonna go nutty. Like, I'm not that person. But at the same time, it's just because I'm tired of raising my blood pressure behind other people's fool-la-la. Like, I can't control what other people do. And I'm gonna give my best no matter what that looks like. Because remember, in the words of the great scholar, Don Miguel Ruiz, the 4 agreements, because y'all know, I can always wrap the 4 agreements into any conversation about anything. But one of the 4 agreements is to always do your best. And when you are doing your best, you have the understanding that that best might be 10% one day, it might be 20, it might be 50, it might be 100%. But whatever percent it is good enough. And I am learning to understand that it is good enough. And sometimes we need to understand that, especially in seasons like this, because in the fourth quarter, it tends to get extremely stressful. We're all trying to end strong. We're trying to build in the numbers. We're trying to do all the things. And I'm not saying that we shouldn't, because obviously I truly believe as an recovering A-type personality, giving your best means going all in. But at the same time, as hard as I'm going to work, you can best believe that as hard, I'm going to rest. I'm going to rest just as hard. I'm going to take opportunities to pour into me. I'm going to take opportunities to sit my butt down and do absolutely nothing, or to be in spaces and places where I can relax, be loved on, rubbed on, fed and comfortable, because that's what's going to help reset me and make me feel my best. And that's what I'm going to do. And so I hope that you will have as many moments like that, because I was blown away and so excited by the number of women that I saw this past weekend doing exactly that. And we need to do more of that, y'all. We do. We need those spaces and places. We need a moment. One young lady, my friend and I were talking to before we came back, we visited 2 spas. And so like our second spa was, just for a couple of hours, just kind of like so we can kill some time, relax before we went back to the hotel. Because we were like, we got to go to bed because we got another dark 30 flight. Because we take dark 30 flights so we can get our butt back home and get to work. Because we know, A-type personality is way to get it done. But anywho, this woman was saying, she's like, I'm married. I think she had like 4 kids. And she was like, I need this time. I need this time to feed into myself. And we were like, yes, because everybody needs a moment where they can do for themselves, where they can just be and just chill. And you don't have to break the bank. I cannot remember exactly like how much the spa was that we went to, like literally, but I think it was like I want to say like under $40 for like a day pass. And like literally we got a chance to go sauna. We got a chance to go in some pools. It was like a Korean day spot and it was amazing. And I would have never known, but my friend is a spa junkie. My buddy is a spa junkie and she like finds all the places. So it is our mission now to go all over. I don't care where it is. We travel for a spa. Yes, we do. And there is ways to get that done. We can talk about that another time, but I can tell you, we have gone to cities for less than 24 hours, flown in, go to the spa, get something to eat, and bring our butt home. Yes, and it can be done, and it does not have to break the bank because there are ways to get it done and cheap flights. And nothing beats a cheap flight. It's like an air taxi in the sky to get you going. But once you get to your place, your destination, you pour into yourself, you have that moment of rejuvenation, you feel renewed, you feel blessed, you feel great. And I'll bet you that will carry you at least a week or two, like outside of that, if not longer, because now you have something even more to look forward to. Like, that's the thing. I want us to have more things to look forward to. I want us to have more opportunities to rest, more opportunities to pour into ourselves because we're trying to do it all. And we can't do everything, but we can do our best thing. And our best thing is taking care of us. Because when we take care of us, when we pour into us, when mama is happy, everybody around you is happy. And there's nothing wrong with that. There is nothing wrong with just taking a moment for yourself. And I really want everybody to do that more. And I know we talk a lot, now with soft life trends and you see people doing all the things. But I know sometimes it can get tricky. It is. I mean, I don't have kids and I am not married, but I do have a mom and a younger sister. And leaving them sometimes, I do feel guilty. Like I said, I've been gone for the past 5 days. I'm back now. They're fine. It was like life didn't end. Everybody was cool. But I don't do that all the time. But I do try to carve out other little things that make me happy so that I can help self-care and feel good, because I know that when I'm at my best, they're going to feel that and they'll feel at their best. And it just creates this beautiful cycle in our home. So that's why I prioritize it. And so I want you to prioritize that as well, especially in seasons like this, because in times like this, where it's getting ready to the holidays and you have so many demands on your time, on your energy, you have to carve out little moments. So I really hope that you will carve out some little moments for yourself, some moments where you can get still, where you can dial into you, where you can connect and feel like an opportunity to regulate your soul and your spirit and your thoughts, because it's not over. We still, like I said, we're almost in the last 60 days of the year. So there's still time where we can accomplish so much. And so I just want to make sure that you're being good to you, because we have to. We only get one and we are uniquely and divinely made. So we have to treat this vessel that we are with care and love. So I want to make sure that you are treating yourself with the care and love that you are pouring into other people. Make sure you're pouring it into yourself. And like I said, I was feeling overwhelmed. I was feeling fearful. I was feeling pressured. But now I feel better because I had a moment to reset. I really am feeling really excited about everything. And yes, everything still got to get done. Like, y'all, I have so much going on. But if I could say one thing, I feel really grateful. Like, I feel so blessed. Like, God has been so good to me. And over this past year, like, there's just so much. And when we probably get closer to the end, I'll talk more about it. But like, God has truly shined on me this year in this season that I'm in. And like I said, I'm being really intentional. I mean, I'm 50 to 60. I'm not playing. I'm not taking any shorts anymore. And I'm really grateful to be in this space of my life, because I know what it's like to be in that season where you're trying to get to this point, where you're trying to work through, where things are not always going as you need them to go. And the losses, the adulting, the Jumanji level adulting events that we are experiencing feel insurmountable. They do. And I'm not saying like I'm not still going through them Jumanji level adulting events, child. I am definitely still adulting over in these streets, but I'm learned how to be more comfortable in that space. And I've learned how to be more confident because I know that God is with me. And I've learned that when the moments get too overwhelming, when I feel too stressful, I need to dial it back, and I can take space and be silent and be okay. I've learned to stand in my authenticity, the loving person that I am, all of those things, to be me completely, because that actually even helps me be able to get through these moments, because I am who I am and I'm going to do what I need to do. And if you like it, great. If you don't, I don't care. It's my life and I'm doing the very best that I can with it. And so all of those things are giving me peace, and they're helping me be able to regulate. They're helping me be able to see that I can do this. And I want you to have those exact same feelings, because you can do this. You can do this. Like, you literally, you can do anything that you place your mind to. So I really hope that you will, like I said, try to carve out some space for you. Just carve out a little time, just a little piece of time, and do what feels good to you, because you deserve it. And you must do it, because I tell you, when you are happy, everybody in your life will be happy. So give yourself those moments of space and peace, because you are worth it every single time. So I know that this is like a little bit of a shorter episode, but I kind of wanted to, at least, like I said, start off this fourth quarter with, I guess that literally is honestly how I'm feeling, where I'm at. And I don't think I'm alone. And we'll just see how the rest of the year ends up. I definitely will have some new guests coming up soon, but you guys will hear more from me these next couple of months, because again, I'm teeing it up for 2024, and I haven't decided when I'm going to take a break. I will take one for the holidays, probably definitely around Christmas, because I just kind of want to end the year a little bit quieter. But we'll talk about that as we get through. We'll get obviously wrap ups and guests. But this is the time, like I said, where we're in the end game, we're in the recap, and we still have time in the season to go, things to accomplish, and we're going to do all of those things. And we'll talk about them, and we'll work together. And I'm here to support you and love on you in any way I can. And I just want to thank you guys for the love that you show me, because believe me, I see the comments and I appreciate the DMs and the support. You have no idea. Like I said, it makes me feel so good to have this opportunity to build a community of women who are just doing amazing things and can pour into each other with no jealousy, only love, support, and encouragement, because that's really what life is about. We put so much time into things that don't really matter when we have to focus on all the things that do. So I'm really excited to see how things turn out, but I promise it'll be a beautiful ride and we'll be there together. So I really hope that you enjoyed this episode. Please feel free to share anything, any tips, any moments, anything that you are working on that I can support you in. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe in this episode. I know I never talk about my socials, but all of those will be in the show notes, because I know y'all love me and I love you. And so I hope that you will share this with other people. And I will be back next week with another episode. I promise I probably will sound a little bit more structured, hopefully. Just depends on how the nature of the week goes. But I want to thank you. I hope you know that you are loved. I love you deep. I hope you have an amazing Sunday and rest of the week. And I will talk to you guys soon. Take care. Bye.